Okay, I am Steve Haas with Selco Construction Services, project manager working on the water damage side of things, and we're getting ready to enter the property and just give you an overview of what we found when we first came in and how we basically progressed in here. And the guy was in Vegas. He's a on-the-road trucker, so he doesn't live here that much. He's mainly on the road, but anyway, he had been out of town since I think the 28th of June, and then his gardener was coming over here to do landscaping work after the 4th of July weekend and saw water gushing out the front door, and that's how they discovered the leak. And then the guy ended up coming home the next day, and like I said, there was basically, at least probably 3 inches of standing water in here. And part of the reason it was held back was because those exterior walls have that thick plastic floor to ceiling covering the insulation. So, I mean, you can kind of see it a little bit right here. This is the sheeting, but it basically went all the way down to the floor. So anyway, this area right here where the sink is at, they had some type of shark bite repair that had been done at some point that apparently failed, and so it was about a 5/8 inch line that was just constantly gushing out water, and it basically went throughout the entirety of the home. So all of the cabinets had to be detached. This center cabinet island had to be lifted up so that we could access what was underneath. You can see we placed it on 2x4s just to hold it up so that from a drying perspective we were able to get air underneath, plus we were able to sanitize the area as well. And then what we've done is we've done some markings, like here. This is where the refrigerator was at, and you can see the tile that's up here. It originally was down here, and because of the water and it being such a thin piece, it ended up coming up when we had pulled the refrigerator out. So we've left everything here for them to evaluate as to whether it can be put back in. There's also some loose tiles here. We've noted in areas around the sink where basically tiles are loose, debonded, for them to evaluate as to whether this floor is going to end up getting pulled. Because the other thing is there's most likely still trapped moisture up underneath the tile, but a lot of times insurance carriers are against pulling tile up because they don't feel it poses any type of risk of the water coming out. And then here again, there was another cabinet assembly here, and you can see where we've noted that there's actual staining on the tiles here from the furniture that was here. And then same thing in the living room area. As I mentioned to you, this fireplace area, there was actually a bench, a seating bench made up of the hearth that goes in front of the fireplace. So we had notified the insurance company that we had to remove this decorative rock because it had been installed over top of drywall, which ran all the way across. And the unique thing about this hearth is they made it out of cinder block on 3 different sides, and then they filled the center with just bags of sand, and then afterwards they capped it with I think they were probably like 14 inch by 14 inch stones that were placed across here to make up the seating of the hearth. We ended up doing a flood cut pretty much every single wall, 2 feet everywhere, because there was beginning stages of microbial growth that had been identified. Obviously, him not living here, high levels of humidity, hot temperatures, everything is really inducive for mold to tend to propagate a lot faster than normal. So, and then fortunately in his case, he had a larger mold policy because most policies are like either 2,500 or 5,000, and a house this size, it well would have exceeded that, but fortunately he had a better policy to cover, so we were able to end up doing mold-related services.